How you doing, Julie? Julie, how you doing? Hi, Karen. They're glad to do that. Okay, yeah.
We just forgot how fun we were.
Call this meeting to order, and Ms. Councilwoman Gloria Jordan, would you deliver the invocation?
God, as we come before you, we thank you for your presence and your direction over this meeting tonight. We ask that you impart wisdom to us over decisions to be made. As council members, you have entrusted us to help the people of the Cherokee Nation. Help us to make the best decisions for your people. We pray for each family that we represent. May their needs be met in whatever issues they face in their daily lives. We pray for our soldiers and ask that you keep your hand of protection upon them and return them home safely to their families. God grant your favor upon the Cherokee Nation and our country. We commit the duties of this meeting to you. When we leave here tonight, may we have peace in knowing we have done what is best for our people. We pray for safety as we travel home tonight, and we thank you for your blessings. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Gloria Jordan. Roll call.
Bill England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Julia Coates.
Here.
Bradley Cobb.
Honey.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fisher. Here. Meredith Fraley.
Here.
Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin. Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Tina Gloria Jordan.
Present.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Stokes.
Here.
David Thornton.
Present.
Karen Fallon Watts.
Honey.
You do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Ms. Gloria Jordan?
Yes, at this time, I make a motion to amend the agenda to include a new business item number 6 that came out of committee today, a resolution ratifying intervention in litigation in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Oklahoma. I would ask that that be new business item number 6. I would also ask to amend the agenda for new business item, which we'll call 7, an act authorizing and approving the fiscal year 2010 budget and declaring an emergency. And because of some commitments of other council members, I would ask that the new business item number 7 be taken under consideration immediately after this vote is taken on the motion.
All minds clear? Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries and the agenda is amended. So we'll take up new business item 7, an act authorizing and approving the 2010 budget, and that would be Mr. Baker, Jack Baker.
Yes. This is the act authorizing the fiscal year 2010 budget for $532 million, which was passed in our budget hearings last Friday, and I make a motion that we approve it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Baker?
Question.
Yes.
Did we not need to repeal the tobacco?
No. It had a sunset provision.
Had a sunset. Okay. Very good.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. I'm assuming that's by acclamation. We had one no?
We had 2 noes.
2 noes? Okay. Did you get those 2 noes, Sheila? Okay, roll call. Yes, as you approve the budget.
Bradley Cobb.
Yes.
Joe Crittenden.
No.
Jody Fishinghawk.
Yes.
Meredith Fraley.
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
Don Garvin.
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Yes.
Tina Gloria Jordan.
Yes.
Chris Stokes.
Yes.
Curtis Snell.
Yes.
David Thornton.
No.
Karen Fallon Watts.
Yes.
Bill England.
Yes.
Bill John Baker.
Yes.
Jack Baker.
Yes.
Harley Buzzard.
Yes.
Julia Coates.
Yes.
We have 15 yes and 2 no.
15 yes, 2 no, motion carries. So the 2010 budget is approved, Mr. Baker.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is approval of the August 10 regular session minutes.
Move to approve.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes stand approved as written. Next order of business is State of the Nation, Principal Chief Chad Smith.
I'd like to express my pleasure of addressing you in the State of the Nation, September 2009. And I'd certainly like to commend Councilman Thornton for his civility. Because, would you say the week after next, Vian and Tahlequah are playing football. And of course we know who's going to win. Tahlequah.
There's probably more Cherokees and Lions than there are.
We'll have to check the blue cards at the gate. It is our pleasure to be here. It's been our custom to acknowledge those who have passed this last month. Many of our Cherokee friends and family members are in sorrow at this moment. Some of those families include Thelma Hadcock Cox Rill, Ina Faye White Romero, the mother of Tanya Williams, Don Christie, Alana L. Thomas, Mike Fritz, a former state representative from District 13, and Kathy Bradley from Delaware County. Is there anybody else Council would like to recognize at this time? Yes. Bennett Kerr. Okay. Yes, sir.
Ronnie Webster.
Yes.
Richard Forkiller.
Okay.
Irene Daniels.
Okay. There was one young man, I hadn't called his name, is Chase Bogle, and we had the opportunity to go to his funeral on Sunday. 16-year-old young man from Locust Grove. Sadly chose to leave his life before his time. And of course, the Locust Grove school was packed. And I think when we have a young one to leave us so early, it reminds us all of our valuable blessings of having our young people. And at 16, having a daughter that's 16, it gives me a great moment to pause and reflect how lucky we are to have our young people and how much we ought to have a little bit more patience in helping them through their path in life. Because when we grew up, we had our challenges, but I would not match our challenges against the challenges that our youth have today. We also have another young man who passed his life under different circumstances. James Layton, United States Navy Medical Corpsman with the Marines. He lost his life in the service of our country in Iraq this last Tuesday, September 8th. And you will notice the flags flying at half-mast. And it's in his honor and remembrance. And those flags started flying at half-mast on September 11th. They also flew at half-mast in remembrance of that horrific circumstance some years ago. And we shouldn't forget Brian Moss, who was in the service of the country, who died at the Pentagon on that day as a result of terrorist attacks. So if you will, join with me in a moment of silence for each of one of these in their honor, and to think about their families in mourning. Tonight we'd like to honor our veterans, and it's a ceremony that was instituted by Joe Grayson Jr., our Deputy Principal Chief. Tonight we would like to first recognize James R. Rowland. He was born in Muskogee, Oklahoma, the son of Thelma Terrell and the late John Rowland. After graduating in 1974, he enlisted in the United States Navy as a second-generation sailor. He served aboard the USS Concord, making 3 deployment tours in the Mediterranean region. After an honorable discharge on April 20th, 1978, he went to work for a local electrical contractor and attended Northeastern State University for 2 years. In 1980, he began work at W.W. Hastings Hospital, where he was employed for 25 years until retirement. Maybe he thinks his retirement is true employment. From federal service in 2008, he continues today in his service to the Cherokee Nation and American Indian populations, working in Performance Improvement Division of the Cherokee Nation Hastings Hospital. So, sir, if you would allow us to recognize you for your service to the nation and to the Cherokee Nation, we'd appreciate it.
It is an award we have earned.
Thank you, sir. Would you say a few words for us?
Just proud to be of Cherokee heritage. I'm proud to serve our country in the service, and I'm proud to still serve the Cherokee Nation.
Thank you very much. Our second veteran is Ernest Shade. He's a full-blood Cherokee and fluent Cherokee speaker. From a very early age, he knew that he was going to join the military. And tonight we have also special guest Charles Murphy, a councilman from the Lakota Sioux tribe in North Dakota. If you will stand, let us recognize you and your family. He advised that the weather here is cooler than in North Dakota, and we encouraged him to keep the Oklahoma weather when we would take his. But Ernest Shade was enlisted in the Army in October of 1942, and he went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for his basic training. He was later sent to North Africa, where he joined the 3rd Infantry and spent time in Tunisia and Algiers. And while in Casablanca, he saw President Roosevelt and Winston Churchill, who were there building morale for the troops. Following Algiers, he spent time in Sicily and Naples, and he saw General Patton speak to the troops. From Italy, he traveled to Austria and then back to the United States. From there, he got his orders to go to the Panama Canal, where one of his 3 children were born. During his duty in Panama for top security of all ships, Pacific and Atlantic, entering the canal. He returned for a time to the States, but ultimately joined the 25th Hawaiian Recon Unit in Korea briefly, returning to the United States for 1 year before shipping out for Newcastle, Germany with the 3rd Division. We're going to have to ask him, is there a place in the world he has not visited? He retired out of Fort Hamilton, New York, returning home with many honorary citations, including the Purple Heart, 7 Bronze Stars. His distinguished military career included 8 battles on 3 continents. His daughter, Ernestine, is going to pin the medal on him and would invite the entire family to come down and share with this recognition. Mr. Shade, let us recognize you, please, sir.
Ernest, it gives us great pleasure to present you with the next military.
Thank you.
It is one that you have earned, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would you say a few words?
I'd just like to be and congratulate Cherokee Nation. What a wonderful job you're doing there, and recognizing all these veterans, you know. And I think you're doing a real good job, and I'm so proud to be a Cherokee, speak Cherokee Indian, and doing good work.
We'll turn, face this way.
So they can get the picture.
Good job. Always in here. Good job. Okay. Okay, this is a plaque.
Chief,
Yes.
why don't you get the grandson and great-grandson?
Yes,
right
please.
here?
Oh, yeah.
I knew I'd get you out.
Thank you so much. In program and service updates, the Cherokee Nation Career Services is announcing the creation of a new work program called the Cherokee Day Work Program. It's designed to provide help to Cherokee people by allowing the opportunity to work for assistance while they continue to try to secure full-time employment or assistance through other programs. The program will be available throughout the Cherokee Nation's 14-county jurisdiction. The Cherokee Nation stepped up to lend a helping hand to Adair County community of Greasy after that community lost its school to a fire in August. Most of its facilities were absolutely destroyed, and Greasy's 80 students are predominantly Cherokee, as well as many of its faculty and staff. Cherokee Nation's Office of Emergency Management has worked with the school to determine and help coordinate operational needs since the early morning fire destroyed its buildings, including the cafeteria and outbuildings. Numerous Cherokee Nation programs that provided assistance in classes have resumed. Oaks community in Delaware County will have improved access to vital water services through funds from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, thanks to collaboration of the Cherokee Nation and several other entities. The Cherokee Nation held a special event this year during the 57th Cherokee National Holiday to break ground on a new Veteran Center. So Grace and I encourage everyone to honor their families' veterans by making the commitment to volunteer their time to help construct this new center. What will be unique about the building, it will be a place bound together by patriotism, appreciation, acknowledgement, and the sacrifice of our veterans. The Cherokee Nation will provide the materials, and together we will physically build it. It will be a great opportunity to give back to the sacrifice made by our veterans. The idea that the great success will be when the building is up, there'll be thousands of people who can drive by every day and said, we helped build that. We understand to a small degree what our veterans did. This is a small way to show appreciation for my dad or my uncle or my brother who served in the service. It'll give us a chance to literally give back with hard-earned sweat and an effort. Cherokee Elder Care celebrated its first anniversary with an open house on Friday, August 21st. Since opening last year, Cherokee Elder Care serves more than 30 enrolled participants. The Cherokee Nation recently contributed more than $305,000 to 124 rural fire departments in northeastern Oklahoma. We held an awards banquet at the new Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Catoosa. We honored the departments and outstanding firefighters. The funding will allow for volunteer firefighters to purchase new equipment and the necessary resources for the upcoming fire season. Over the last 3 years, the Cherokee Nation has contributed more than $1.2 million to these worthy volunteers. And those that attended recognized very quickly that these are volunteers whose services are often gone unheralded and unsung. And they very much appreciated the recognition we gave them for contributing to our communities. Cherokee Nation has just completed our annual reviews and performance increases for this year. In a few short weeks, we'll be rewarding our employees for their hard work. Even though we're in tough financial times, we're able to budget, that was approved just minutes ago, the bonus for this coming year as we have in the past. Over Labor Day weekend, we held the 57th Cherokee National Holiday. And in spite of the soggy weather, we had a great turnout. We had a very special guest, John Lewis. And he not only appeared at our powwow, but he went to our high school. He spoke to the students there. And he was very moving to the students. We took him to the immersion school. And there he was moved by our students, the little kids speaking Cherokee. At the powwow, he was very eloquent and encouraged us to continue the fight that he knew that we had since the days of contact. And that evening, he also went to our stomp dances, which he found inspirational. And at the next day at the Cherokee National Holiday, he addressed us, and in his Southern Baptist eloquence, which he said he learned by preaching to chickens when he was 8 years old, he said this: You have an obligation, you have a mission and a mandate from your ancestors to continue to push and pull. The Trail of Tears must never happen again. Nothing similar must ever happen again. He went on to say, when I was growing up in Alabama attending school, they skipped those chapters, I guess, in the history book, because I'd never learned one thing, not one word, and it's a shame and disgrace that hundreds and thousands and millions of our young people are growing up in America, never learning one thing about the Trail of Tears. It made me sad, a shame, and a disgrace. So we have, I believe, a friend in the Congress now, having experienced, to a small degree, what the Cherokee people experienced. And his great claim of leadership is that he was there at Selma and was beaten, and he was one of those who spoke on the National Mall with Martin Luther King, and he is known as a dean of civil rights in the U.S. Congress. I'd like to recognize all the dedicated event coordinators who made the holiday such a great event this year. First, I'd like to recognize our own Cherokee Nation Holiday Director, Lou Slagle, who works year-round in this event, which has grown to be the largest event of its kind in northeastern Oklahoma, and recognize Anna Knight, the Director of Commerce, for her work in that. The holiday is almost entirely volunteer-driven, and our tribal employees and others put hours of hard work into their events. There are too many to name, but I'd like to mention Linda Turnbull Lewis and Felicia Olai, who coordinated the State of the Nation program, Deborah Lack, who coordinated this year's holiday parade, Charlie Soap and Beverly Barr, who coordinated the intertribal powwows. And this year we also had the Black Legging Society and within the powwow community. That's a great, great honor, just like Congressman Lewis was to our State of the Nation. Our communications department handed out thousands of our annual report to the people, which is just one way of fulfilling our promise of a transparent government. And I also want to thank our choir director, Mary Carey Henderson, who seamlessly moved our Cherokee National Youth Choir from one venue to another during the very busy weekend. Speaking of our youth choir, it gives me great pleasure to announce that they again have been nominated for 2 more Native American Music Awards, or NAMMYs. I hope you will support them by going online to NAMMY website and casting your votes for them. And the way the votes are tabulated, you have to go online, register to vote, and vote. And the website is, and I want to be extremely clear, there's no hidden agenda here. Vote for these guys. No ifs, ands, or buts. Get on your computer tonight and go to NativeAmericanMusicAwards.com and vote for a Cherokee National Youth Choir. If any of you were here over the Cherokee holiday, or even as you arrived tonight for this meeting, you will have noticed a few changes here in the complex, including our council chambers. Our tribal facility staff have put in long hours designing, painting, carpeting, and decorating the tribal complex so we can have a gracious place to welcome our citizens and others coming here to conduct business. Just a few people who have helped with this effort include Angela Drews, Dana Espinal, Bodie Crow, and their entire day and night crews have worked nonstop. So the debate has been this evening, which way should these letters have run? And we are going to have a pop quiz at the end of the evening to see what it actually says. But I think we came to conclude that our language should welcome everyone who walks in the doors of our council chambers. So when you walk in the doors, it's laid out there for you to read and to be familiar with our language. The budget that we passed tonight is a great effort by the council and the administration to try to deal with the many competing needs of the Cherokee people, especially in this very tough economic times. We've had a flat budget. Discretionary funds have not increased. But the value of a budget is just not to say how much money you have. The value of the budget provides authority to hire, to write checks, to write pharmacies, to execute the work of the Cherokee Nation. Because not only accounting for the money, it gives the administrative branch the authority to write those checks. But what has been a great stride is that it also reflects the overall strategy of the Cherokee Nation, because you put your money where you want to go. And we have been firm in our belief that we are destined to work toward becoming a happy and healthy people. And the formula is a very simple formula: jobs, language, community. Does the budget help us achieve that ultimate goal? This year, some highlights in the budget: $1 million in community works projects, part of an overall housing and community service budgets of $121 million. Part of that is a veterans center that we'll be building, $2.2 million. It allows for us to expand the immersion school. This year we are all the way from preschool to 4th grade. Our education budget, which includes partnerships with rural schools, is over $52 million. In our jobs, we have our Back to Work program, our day work program, which allows Cherokees to get back on their feet and to strive for meaningful employment. And that is the Back to Work contract health care budget is part of a $203 million health budget. We have a number of initiatives that are reflected in the budget, but I'm glad to say that because we're frugal and because of other governments and businesses are laying off, there's no layoffs expected, no furloughs are anticipated. We certainly had to tighten our belt and to make tough decisions, but we were able to provide for a bonus for employees who've earned it and increase our scholarships by $2 million. And I know, Janelle, tenacity goes a long way. You've been driving that for a long, long time, and we appreciate your work in that. We appreciate the work of all the committees and all the councilmen, because it is a tough situation. Because the hardest council decision each year, in concert with the administration, is to develop a budget. I remembered Ross Swimmer saying when he was the head of the BIA, he says 70% of his time was working on the budget. And it takes a cooperative effort. It takes an effort of foresight. And I want to commend the council tonight for their hard work, their deliberation, and their earnesty in pursuing this. And if you will, join me with the council for passing the budget. In the audience tonight, we have our new Miss Cherokee ambassador, so please welcome Danielle Culp and I'll be chastised if I don't tell her where she's from, of Claremore, Cherokee Nation. Danielle, will you come down and say a few words?
Osio Nigada Alskin Dawadoa, Ayas Nela Du Yawade Tiadi, Galamar Du Janela, Northeastern State University Digadel Kwasti. Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Culp. I'm a 19-year-old sophomore at Northeastern State University. As the chief said, I am from District 7, Claremore, born and bred. This year I had the honor of serving as Miss Cherokee, and I chose something that I'm very passionate about for my platform, and that's leadership. And it's something that I look forward to promoting during my reign, teaching the youth about what leadership is and stressing it to my generation. And I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to the council tonight and say that I look forward to visiting each of your communities throughout the districts this year. Widow.
Miss Cherokee's been part of our leadership initiative, and it really is not a competition, it's an exercise. And if you were able to attend the event, each of the young ladies were eloquent in expressing their thoughts, laying out a platform, and at the State of the Nation you received a copy printed of their platforms. And it really speaks well of the coming class of young women leaders, which also includes our junior Miss Cherokee Ambassador, Ashley Miller. Ashley, you want to come and say a word?
Oceanigada Ale Ulihilisti Gostu Doa. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Ashley Miller and I'm the 16-year-old daughter of David and Tammy Miller. And I just want to thank you guys for allowing me this wonderful opportunity to represent every one of our districts, to represent our Cherokee Nation. I'm looking forward to this year. I know it's going to be amazing. And my platform this year was on language preservation. And throughout the year, I want to work a lot with our younger generation because they are our future. I want to promote our language. I want to teach our language, teach it through songs, stories, things like that. Work with the younger generation because they are going to be our future. Wado.
Some other highlights of leadership are Cherokee Nation Attorney Chrissy Ross Memo, will participate in the Oklahoma Bar Association's second annual Leadership Academy class selected from applicants throughout the state. Is Chrissy here? Okay. Chrissy, a Cherokee Nation citizen, works in the tribe's Office of the Attorney General. She was one of 26 lawyers chosen for the OBA's Leadership Academy. The OBA Leadership Academy will offer 4 sessions set to begin in early fall and continue through May 2010. We have a lot of great people in the Cherokee Nation, and we've known that for a number of years. It seems like others are beginning to take notice. Several of our folks have been named to the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development's 40 Under 40 Awards, which includes our own Kara Cowan Watts, Chris Province, Deb Reed, and Veronica Hicks. I'd like to invite everyone to the National Job Corps 45th Anniversary event to be held this Friday, September 18th at 10 o'clock at the Talkin' Lee's Job Corps Gym. And I'd like to invite the entire Tribal Council to come out to the Cherokee Heritage Center on September 23rd between 11th and 2 p.m. for the Cherokee Nation Volunteers Picnic. The picnic is a small way to thank our volunteers for their time and efforts. There's other announcements of Kara Cowan's Hog Fry in Rogers County will be held on Sunday, September 27th from 2 to 4 at the Will Rogers Ranch in Oologah. October 10th, we will be at his other ranch outside of Palisades, Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles, where Rogers' home there is now a state park. And so the at-large Cherokees in that community will be assembling on his other home, his other ranch. Now, his other ranch has a 2-hole golf course and a polo ground. David and Janelle's community meeting set for this week has been canceled. I'm sure they'll let us know when it's rescheduled. Don Garvin would be holding a community meeting on Tuesday, September 22nd at Three Rivers Health Center from 5 to 6:30. And we mentioned our community picnics in California on October 10th and I think on the 11th in San Diego. The following week is the NCAI in Palm Springs. And in closing, I've got one story and something to show you. Many of you are fans of Ryan Dirt Eater. And he was, a couple of weeks ago, he was on the PBR's association team that won a World Cup for bull riding in Brazil. And so what they have is 4 bull riders in each team, and they compete internationally in Brazil. And so they won that. And as part of the Cherokee National Holiday, we had a breakfast at the Alumni Center at Northeastern, and Mike Brown, our state representative, said, well, we have a presentation for you. And he started talking about how music was a bridge to political differences and racial differences. And the more he talked, I thought he might give me a CD. And then he pulled out a violin case, and poor Buell thought it was a Thompson submachine gun for the evening. But as Representative Brown went on to talk, it was one of the most moving moments I've had in my career as principal chief because it was heartfelt and meaningful because he's a fiddle player. And he presented me with a fiddle, but on the back is a seal of the Cherokee Nation engraved. So it's, plays a tune. Let me pass that around with you, if you will share that. Yes, he did challenge me to learn to play Faded Love by Johnny Lee Wells. He said next year you need to have it, and if I practice every day for the next 365 days, it'll be a chore to get there. So, Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. Woodell.
Is action of unfinished business. There being none pending, we'll move on to the committee reports, and the first one is the Housing Authority. David Sutherland. Good evening.
Good to be here tonight. The Housing Authority's regular board meeting for September will be tomorrow evening at 5:30 in the Allen Hollander Conference Room at the Administration Building. There's a light agenda. One item for discussion is approving a lease with the City of Hobart for a storm shelter at the Proctor Heights Addition in Hobart. Hobart's considering applying for a grant for two of these, and they want to put one at Proctor Heights. There's going to be some issues to work through, but I think that'd be a great place for a storm shelter. Another discussion item will be what's an allowable item for the purchase on the MEPA program. Families living in mutual help homes can earn equity in their home if they pay more than the minimum payment. Those folks that have some equity, they use that to make improvements to their homes or to replace appliances. We want to discuss what a reasonable amount is that can be spent. Example would be how much is allowable on the replacement of a refrigerator. It's not really designed for an extravagant refrigerator. You can get one for $400 to $800, but we've had requests for $2,000 refrigerators. So we need a little guidance there. The October meeting, Housing Authority meeting, has been rescheduled. It'll be October the 27th at noon at the Housing Authority building. Had some conflicts with the next date, so I want to let you all know that. That's my report for the evening. If anyone has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next report is next two reports are Mr. Dave Stewart for Cherokee Nation Entertainment and Cherokee Nation Business.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We survived the aftermath of the opening at Hard Rock and learning to operate the new amenities that we have, the convention space and the hotel, and the restaurant is open on the 19th floor. So we're focused on learning how to do that and do it well. This presents new business for us, and we're positioned to take advantage of it. The event center is under construction. We have about 8 months left on it. In West Siloam, we had the official groundbreaking of the hotel, and we're about 8 months out there. Net income is better than June, but well below last year as we operate more amenities. It's more expensive to operate. So we're focused on being efficient and cost controls and just looking at how we operate. Retail sales tax to the tribe is significantly up, about 25%, indicating that we're taking advantage of the restaurants and the retail that's going on at the properties. Road construction presents a significant challenge to us as 44 has expanded, so if you've been there in a bit, you have to kind of work through it. Considering, I think we're doing very well on that front. We've increased our employee count by 23 for 3,455 employees. about 59% are Cherokee, with a similar percentage in the management level. Our debt remains at about $30 million, so we've paid down a significant amount that we've used for the expansions. We're almost through with Tulsa and almost through with West Siloam. So we'll be increasing that debt a little bit, but our cash flow is good and it's paying that down just about as fast as we use it, so that's good. So that would conclude my report for Cherokee Nation Entertainment. If there's any questions.
Questions or comments? Dave, I just want to congratulate you. A young lady who works part-time for me works full-time for you. She said when we opened Hard Rock, the first week you gained over 7,000 new customers.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we've seen a significant, a lot of people have come by to see the property. Now it's our job to keep them.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yep.
Okay. At Cherokee Nation Businesses, we're focused on finalizing the budget All of the CEOs met to discuss business strategy, to get us all aligned in the proper business segments that we believe we can excel at. Also, methods of sharing services. We have a lot of talent within all of the companies, so we're working on providing that talent to the individual companies where they need it so that they can succeed, and providing them all the resources they need to be successful. The budget will be presented at the September board meeting, so I would encourage you to come to that if you would like to. We have completed the acquisition of our IT company, owned by C&B and effectively managed by C&E. This is part of C&E's diversification effort, using its core competencies in IT to take that to the private sector, so we're looking forward to that. All is well with our subsidiaries. They're profitable on budget. C&E is behind, but we're continuing to work on that. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to.
Any questions? Yes, Mr. Garvin?
Can you tell us a little bit about this new company you bought?
Yes, it's a company based in Colorado. We just closed on it last week, and it's basically getting us into the government sector, capitalizing on our expertise and resources that we have at C&E. So it's very promising, and I'll be able to update you a little more at the next executive and finance meeting.
Yes, Ms. Calm-Watts?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I didn't get a reply, but where are those jobs going to be posted? Are they on the ITX website? Are they on the Cherokee Nation website? Or are they on, where are they?
Well,
CNB's
we're not
website?
hiring right now. We absorbed the company. We bought it intact. So we're really not in a position to add more at this point, but those will be on all of, in fact, I'm really not sure where those will be, Kara. We're still working out all of the details of that, but they will be published prominently so that they'll be available to everyone.
Just to note, that's contrary to the memo we received, if I remember right. It said they would be added at the Catoosa facility and that there were jobs available immediately, but then it didn't reference a website, and I hadn't got a response back.
Okay.
So,
well, we just closed Friday, so I may not be as familiar as I should with some of the details, but if they are available, they will be posted in our normal process of business, and we'll just make sure that happens.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Okay.
Cherokee Nation Industries report by Brian Collins. Good evening.
Good evening. I love this carpet. This is a great look.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised when I walked in and saw it. So, the August results have not been completed. We're still probably a day or two away from the August results, so there's not been any change from the last report on where we stand at on our financials year to date. But from an employment standpoint locally, we're at 470 with a 82% Native American employment. The Cherokee Nation holiday, which was a pleasure to participate in that again, and C&I took second in the float. I always like walking in the parade, especially in front of the horses. I mean, that's usually a benefit. And then hearing Diane Kelly announce, it's always great. But also this year was a lot of pleasure for me as well from the softball tournaments. I've always had a passion for the softball in the slow pitch and fast pitch, since I have a young girl that a daughter of mine that plays in both. So it was fun to go out and watch and participate. The Huntsville contract that we've talked about, I'm sure you've heard me talk about Huntsville. It's finally sealed, signed, and I'll be traveling there in the next day or two, meeting our new customer at the Redstone Arsenal. It's a cost plus IDIQ contract. It's the first that we've had of this type, and it's a great opportunity for us. So I'll be speaking more about that in the future, and as we start digging in and getting that kicked off and going. It has opened up some opportunities for hiring. We've had some open positions, and we've been able to fill 2 or 3 positions so far with Cherokees that we've been able to recruit and find with years of government contracting that this type of contract requirement needs. So with that said, our next board meeting is September 28th in Tulsa at 2 o'clock. It's a Monday. And I'd like to see council members, advisory council members if possible. and be an important meeting as well as we probably refine and look at some of our budget criteria. That concludes my report.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Collins? Thank you very much. There being no old business pending, we'll move on to new business. And out of Rules Committee last month was a request to change the October meetings because of an event. And Mr. Garvin, you want to?
During the October meeting, the NCAI is going to meet about the same time we are. And I checked with them, told them to move it somewhere else, but they didn't go for that. So looks like we're going to have to do the changing. So I make a motion we change our meeting 1 week later. And the council meeting will be on the 19th. Education, culture, and resources on the 19th, and health and community development on the 20th. I make that
All
form of
it's all
motion.
one day. Second, with the friendly amendment that it's all one day, because I think that's what we concluded and responded, just for that particular month. That was approved by everybody.
Mr. Garvin?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing the Cherokee Nation become a member of the NCAI. This also authorizes the payment of the $25,000 membership fee and appoints delegates and alternates. The NCAI is the largest and oldest Indian organization which monitors federal policy and ensures that we receive the rights and benefits to which we are, which we should be receiving. And Mr. Would you leave?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve.
Second. Moved in second. Now discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3 is nomination confirming the nomination, the resolution confirming the nomination of Rick Doherty as to the Cherokee Nation Waste Management Board. Ms. Fishinghawk?
Yes. Madam Speaker, I'd like to nominate a good friend of both Joe's and mine. He served on the Cherokee Nation Election Commission before. Joe and I both have all the faith in the world in him. He's strong on ethics, and that's what I think we need for the landfill, and I move to nominate Rick Doherty.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Sorry.
Mr. Doherty, I'm glad you're here this evening. Would you like to say something?
Just appreciate the opportunity to serve and try to do the best job I possibly can. Thank you all.
Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 4, congratulations, Mr. Doherty. Item 4 confirms the nomination of Ken Purdy as a member of the Board of Directors for the Cherokee Nation Waste Management. Mr. Baker, did you want to do that one?
I'd be tickled to. The nomination that has been put in is Ken Purdy. He not only is mayor of Tahlequah and an honest and honorable man, but his avocation has been in solid waste management. And I would think that he would be an extremely good fit for this committee, and I put it in the form of a motion.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Mr. Purdy isn't here, is he? Motion carries. Last month, out of Executive and Finance Committee was an amendment to the 2009 budget, which is Mod 11. Mr. Baker.
Yes. This budget mod increases the spending authority by $1,700 related to the emergency management program. I make a motion that be approved.
Second. By acclamation.
By acclamation.
By acclamation. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
She said that.
Okay, be quiet, Todd. Item 6 is a resolution ratifying intervention in litigation in the Northern District. Ms. Ms. Count Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This resolution approves our Attorney General, Ms. Diane Hammonds, to enter into the lawsuit between the state of Oklahoma and Tyson. I make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any announcements? Yes, Mr. Garvin and then Mr. Baker.
I'd like to invite everyone to our community meeting on the 22nd in Muskogee at the Three Rivers Health Clinic. And also I'd like to introduce Dwight Epperson over here from Wagner and Mr. and Mrs. Haley from Muskogee. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Baker?
Yes, I would like to give a special thanks to Doug Evans for all of his hard work doing the legislative review for our budget for 2010, as well as thanks to Todd Hembry for keeping us in line last week during the budget hearings. And also a special thanks to Callie Ketcher and all of our financial staff for all the hard work they went into putting the budget together, as well as the group leaders who worked on the budget before that. Thanks for your help.
Ms. Count Watts.
Thank you. And as co-chair of Executive and Finance, there is I don't know, I would know how many hours. Sometimes I think Chief Smith and his staff and Secretary of State Melanie Knight and all her crew, the same folks that Jack refers to, go to even get to the point where we then spend more hours working on the budget. And I want to reiterate, and I'm sure each council member agrees, that we appreciate our staff, Doug Evans, and the support he gets at the council office, and Madam Speaker and her work, but also the administrations. But in addition, I want to thank Ms. Danielle Culp for taking the time again to participate in our leadership programs, and that you took the opportunity to pursue Ms. Cherokee, because she's the first Rogers County woman to do this since the 80s. And so our whole community is excited about the next year, Danielle, and we appreciate that. And she also serves as our representative on the Cherokee Nation Tribal Youth Council. So we appreciate that. But I would like to welcome each of you to the Will Rogers Birthplace Ranch on the Sunday, the 27th, from 2 to 4 p.m. That's a partnership to make sure that we continue to embrace our leader in Will Rogers and his memory and what he continues to bring to the Cherokee Nation and the state of Oklahoma. But also our cultural tourism in the Heritage Center partnered to open that new gallery on this past Saturday at the Memorial that actually is a permanent gallery recognizing Will Rogers' Cherokee heritage and his entire family. So it completes the entire picture. When you go to the Memorial now, it's not just Will Rogers, the cowboy, and the one reference at the beginning of him as an original enrollee. It is now a real partnership talking about Will Rogers, the Cherokee. And now, so we'll get to have the storytellers and a part of the tour that's a permanent tour on our list for cultural tourism on that Sunday, and we welcome each of you to come participate. Thank you.
Ms. Gloria Jordan.
Mine will be short. Bill, John, and I would like for you all to mark your calendars towards the week of October 20th. We'll be putting on our district meeting here at Tahlequah at the community center. So watch for the signs to go up here pretty quick. Be a good hog fry. Have 2 hogs in the freezer. They're ready.
Ms. Fulbright.
Yes, I want to thank everyone, especially all the other council members, on passing the budget and how we were able to work together and walk across the aisle and reach out to others. I especially want to thank Councilor Bill John Baker for making the motion, 2nd year in a row, for us to raise the scholarships, and we all had to work together on this, and it's something that we're very proud of. And not only that, but everyone seem like getting along very congenial now, so I'm really proud of all my other council members. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fulbright. Ms. Coates.
The Chief already mentioned this, but I want to pull it out and emphasize it again for those that may be watching over the internet right now or in the coming days. We have 2 picnics coming up in Southern California. The first on Saturday, October 10th from 10 to 2 that will be at the Will Rogers home, the state park in California. So everybody in the Los Angeles area, be sure to turn out for that one. And then on Sunday, October 11th, again from 10 to 2 at Mission Bay Park in San Diego as well. So everybody in the San Diego area, be sure and join us for that. Thanks.
Mr. Garvin, did you forget something?
I did, and I think we all did. We need to recognize our 3 hard workers in the council house, Gail Miller, Shelley Britton, and Robbie Mouse. They do a tremendous job.
Our announcement. I want to once again thank Doug Evans. We've only got one accountant over there, but he does a good job of keeping up with the 40 Callie's got. Any other announcements? And entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.